and gentlemen, apologies for what happened there. Unfortunately, things happen in the world of technology, and we did lose our PC there for a moment, so apologies there. You have not missed, I'd like to say you have not missed a lot. Things have been going on. We go quickly down to the amateurs. Andrew Maiden did have a spin, took him from the middle of the field to the back of the field. There's a couple of things. Daniel Sensley has retired the car in the Pro-Am, so has Florian Copin. Maxine Smith has also retired the car. Sean Campbell has been making a charge up in the pros, and so has Ethan Bass. He is now P2 in class at the moment. You're looking right now at Sean Campbell making his way. You can see how close he is right now to James Armstrong. You can see what he is right there in front of James Armstrong and Cody Pride. And that gap is still true. Cody Pride does have that dominant lead to the rest of the field. Also to see elsewhere, the gaps are so spread out, and this is different to the norm for the World Series. Usually the World Series we see a lot of pack racing. The only pack racing we're seeing at the moment is this because the gaps are so far, so spread around that it is very hard to even look. You've got a two-car battle in the Pro-Ams. So at the moment, Sophie Rippan and Rafael Garin in the amateurs, there's not a lot to sing home for. Juan Manuel Carrera is trying to make his way up the field with Andrew Haddad. That's about it at the moment when it comes to the field. So we did have some incident. Dean Timms as well going a lap down, and he has already taken his pit stop. And of course, with 20 minutes down on the clock, you have to start thinking, yeah, maybe it is time. Maybe it is time for bringing in your pit stops and bring in that strategy. Remember, it's 2 mandatory pit stops in the Race Anywhere World Series, so it's all about saving those times. See what he does. Gravel getting thrown up there from James Armstrong as he's got the full Sim Racing of Cody Pry in front of him. It's nice to see orange numbers on that timing tower. Less than a second is half a second. Sorry, is the orange numbers. Yellow numbers is less than a second. Nobody's telling me to make a mistake myself. Armstrong there in that little gap there. He's got Campbell right behind us. They come out of the Moss S into the Atworth curve. Can he make a move coming out the curve here? You'll see the DRS signs. I wish. It's going to be hilarious if the GT cars could have some DRS, but at the moment, just going to have to rely on a lot of speed. You can start to see Campbell deciding against it, braking early, and you can see Armstrong went for a move there. I think that may have compromised him. Campbell's going to get a little bit closer in this moment as they come out of over down now into Piper, where Fabian lost it earlier on in the pros. What can they do now into the treacherous red turn? Look at how tight the exit is here, straight into Hobbs. Still, they just hold on. Who gets a good run here? 2 more corners in the lap. This is what we were talking about, the tricky section. Don't want to get it off track there. That is a slow down at Mike Knight. If you take too much to the inside. And then last corner, who's going to kick up gravel here? It's going to be Campbell. So what does Armstrong decide to do here? Does he decide to play it safe? Does he go for a little bit of a lift? He goes for the lift. He goes for the lift and just holds on. Campbell behind is just going to be threatening him. And it just makes me wonder, Sean wants to get by. We know usually drivers start to get a little bit racy when it comes to the start of the fuel window, the pit window. And they want to make moves on track as well as making moves in the pit lane. But at the moment, with the pace of Jesse Jones at the moment, what can they do? And you see Campbell again, he's got a really good run. And Armstrong's having to defend this right now. Armstrong's going to go to the inside to defend, going into the hairpin. And Campbell might just give this away. No, he's going to try and go around the outside, side by side. They go! Is he going to hold on to this? The overlap's not there. Almost was there, but Armstrong cut it off on the exit. And down to Revolver they go. And Armstrong holds on the first threat. And that really was the first threat of the race so far for Campbell. 5 places already in this race. Again, with an exit like that, Red Bull don't think he'll be going and then not using all the apex, late apexing Hobbs, losing a bit of time there to Armstrong. We're talking about Campbell versus Armstrong here. We've got to give some respect. We've got to put some going to put some words on Cody Pride here. He's holding in for the second place really well. Doing really well at the front. Well, I wouldn't say the front, but he is the front. When you think Jeff Jones being so far ahead. And he's literally finally come out of the pits there, as you can see. You start to see Campbell starting to lose this gap right here. Armstrong really check out that camera right over the curve with the sun. Campbell's losing a bit of time here. Going off the gravel again. A little bit of overdriving here in the Moss S. Is a chance for Armstrong to get by Pride after Atwood. Down the back straight they go. And you know what? It does feel like Armstrong's got a little bit of a run here. Does he go for it? It'll be a late move. Cody's realised it. Overspeed. Armstrong goes for it anyway. And he's going to go for this move into the hairpin. Has he overcooked it? Compromises the speed there for Cody. But he may... Yes, he holds on to it. James Armstrong goes up to P2. Holds on to that now. Now he's trying to get away. And if he gets the gravel like that, it's not going to be all too well. Into Hobbs they go again. And that is going to be Pride with the inside. But if he does not make this move work, the inside now belongs to Armstrong. And now, Pride, Armstrong, side by side with P2. And he continues. Still side by side. Into Mike Knight. Side by side. The overlap's finally gone. Armstrong holds off. Some great driving by both drivers. We'll get some more talk about that moment. I was talking about the side by side action there. If you tried to make it too wide into those hairpins, you've got to make it pull off there, because if you go for that inside on the first one at Redmond, you've got to get it. Hey, you've got to get it done. Or you go into Hobbs and you're on the outside. Just there. What we saw. So that is the first salvo. Cody is unable to get back though. Armstrong will take that P2, and now Campbell right behind as they come to the straight once more. I wonder what's going to happen this time. They continue right now. I don't think there's going to be a lot of overtaking right here. I don't think there's going to be any moves from Campbell. Then again, Cody's going to do the exact same thing he did to Armstrong. And Campbell's going to do this. Campbell's going to go for two! Side by side with Armstrong! Is he going to make it? He'll have to go around the outside of Revolver. There's no way. There's no way Sean Campbell can do this around the outside of Revolver. He does not. But if he does not get into that slip, he's going to lose that position he just got from Cody Pride. Holds on to it. Cody's got the inside, but James is defending the inside. And now Campbell's got a bit too wide. Loses out to Armstrong, but he keeps the inside of Hobbs. Holds onto it. He'll take that P3, but he's lost time to Armstrong there, having to make that move. Just getting it a little bit wrong when he went into Redmond, but he managed to hold on. And now you start to think to yourself, Armstrong Campbell, they finally got up to the front of the field. Are they going to be able to make some moves? I can't see Pride competing right now. I cannot see Pride. Not the moment. Maybe just cool the tires down a little bit. He was doing 28s, a couple of 29s as well. Not been going his way at the moment, but the other guys both doing 29s. When you think about it, they've been doing 29s. So it's all there. Cody Pride having some really good times in the clean air, but this is the first time that he will be in the dirty air for the first time since the start of the race. So that is one to keep eyes on. We'll just have to see if there's going to be any moves from any of these drivers going down into the hairpin. There is not. So we'll get back to that. I always say that though. Campbell, again, he gets that outside line. Armstrong does not get a good hairpin, and Campbell almost having to make the move. I will get to the other classes, but these three guys are just constantly looking at making positions after positions, and I think this is where they're going to be for a little bit longer. Keep looking on though. We do that, let's just have a quick look around the rest of the field, because there is a crash. Sorry, just as I go to the Pro-Ams, Oscar Coper is in the wall. Championship leader loses it at Piper in the wall, and he collects, and this is big. Raphael Garin and Thomas Reitzer in the Pro-Ams got collected. We're going to see a replay. Look at him get loose right there. And nowhere for those two drivers to go. Nowhere for either of them to go. When you think Garin, P2 in the Pro-Ams, if there's big damage to the front of that, it's going to be hard. He gets away with it though. The only one with real damage looks to be Thomas Reiter. It's only like rear damage for Reiter, what could have been. Unfortunately, though, for Copa, he's unable to take advantage. Well, sorry, I'm going to say take advantage. He's unable to really keep going. He's not had a good time here. Obviously, there is some issues with Copa. He could take this as a drop week. We'll wait and see. So, as we look onto that, we're going to look at this quick incident here. This is Arshad Al Haddad. Again, the BMW here. Does he take a bit too much? This is down the Moss S by the looks of it, and he comes in to Atwood. The back's going already, and he just loses the back of it, and that will take him away from this. Now, these guys are at the front of the club. They are the front, but Jeffrey Jones is currently 7 seconds up the road. They continue to go, and that's interesting. That is Armstrong and Pride both going into the pit. Campbell able to save more fuel. He will go an extra lap. Now, is that the drivers trying to get an advantage here? Are they looking at hopefully getting an undercut? Well, with Sylvain Dupuis also coming into the pits as well for the pros, maybe not. Again, we'll keep our eyes on what's happening there. Meanwhile, you can start to see in the Pro-Ams, they started to take their own pit stops. Michael Patterman currently leading the amateurs as well. It's been pretty quiet for Michael all race. He has been there at the moment, just casually enjoying himself. I think going around, and Elvin Kelberg just, again, the moment the race started, he got off quickly and he went on. Kelberg taking over at the lead. Now, Cody Pride have not been able to make the jump on James Armstrong at the moment. So, to me, that says that they took full fuel. But the issue that Pride's got at the moment is there's Michael Patterman, the amateur leader, right in front of him. And that is not what he wants to see. Because if Patterman doesn't have the same pace, he's going to get held up for a little bit from that amateur driver. I'm not saying Patterman's slow. I'm not saying. We all know there are the different pace speed, the different paces between the three classes. Are we going to see that here? We can see Patterman really on the back of James Armstrong. He's going to use that to get some sort of fuel saving, use that to get some slipstream, start to pull his lead again. All the amateurs have already taken their pit stop apart from El Haddad, as he's still out there at the moment, but he's got Thomas Reiter right behind him at the moment. I'm just as we look at Haddad, currently Michael Patterman leads the way, as we were talking about, for the amateurs. Now, Kevin Blayton is the current leader, as Jesse Jones came into the pits. And he comes out the pits right now. It's going to be interesting to see where he comes out, because that looks to be quite a long pit stop. But Jesse Jones comes out ahead of Dupuis, ahead of Campbell, ahead of Armstrong. Now, this is interesting. Sylvain Dupuis has just made... he has done a fuel strategy here. Because we were thinking, Sylvain, why is Sylvain all of a sudden up the order? He's under fuel. He's going to do the short route here. You can start to see James Armstrong stuck behind Sean Campbell again. And 2 seconds up the road is Dupuis. Dupuis thinking about taking that short fuel strategy. Take that short fuel strategy, he might be able to make some moves. Just see if that will work for him. Patterman's in the pits as well, as you can see on the timing tower. It's always good to have that timing tower because we can get to see all the things that we're unable to see at the moment, as practically the rest of the amateur field do indeed come into the pits, take their positions, and we'll start to see where they are in terms of where they will be once we get out. And it is interesting to see Gasecki just almost taking that position on Manuel. You can just see it right now. They're in a little bit of a battle right here. They are holding on. It looks like Kaya has just made that move going into turn one to start this lap. And that's another position for the championship leader. And like I said, his early rival Mado at the back of the amateur field after a couple spins. So meanwhile, Manuel is just going to gain positions. And remember, point system goes 100, 95, 90, increments of 5 points for each position. So you lose a couple positions, that's 10 points, 15, And when you get to 15, you start to worry. You start to think to yourself, I hope this can be my drop week. A drop week is going to be crucial for these drivers. Just really got to ask yourself, is this where you want your drop week? And that's going to be the question they'll have to ask them. Some of these drivers will have to ask themselves, because you've got to remember, they go to Donington next week. They go to Spa the week after, Mid-Ohio, Zolder, Daytona, Monza, Le Mans. There are not many tracks in the schedule that scream, I can use this as a drop week. They are all challenging tracks that you don't really see. Kevin Clayton right here. He's having the time of his life, but he's got Alvin Kelberg, the Pro-Am leader, right behind him. Not a battle for position per se, but track position, especially with Ethan Bass starting to get behind Alvin Kelberg right now. That Ford, the TechSense Ford is there. You can start to see him in the camera. Gap is 1.6 and closing for the Ford driver. Now Kevin Clayton, of course, is in no need. He doesn't have to let the Pro-Am go. He's in his right to keep in this position. He is only 5 seconds away from Fabian up the field for the pros. You can start to see that. But Kelber's got to start thinking, if I've got to run, I'm going to have to take it. Because the more he stays behind, the more he can batten that Ford. Every time I say it, it sounds scary. But there is a way he's got that Ford going. And you'll start to see what he can do. Now, El Haddad, it's not going well. Oh my word. That's a car that's not happy. That's at Williams, and the car just snapped. That's one I've not seen for a while in a BMW, and unfortunately it snapped. Not in the best place either. Now, does Kelbo start to get a run? He doesn't have to. But he's looking at it. He's looking. He's got to put it one time. You know what? Kevin Clayton's decided, yeah, I'm not battling you. Go ahead. Will that allow Kelbo to just start pulling away from Ethan Bass? That's going to be what he needs to see. We'll keep our eyes on that. Like we're keeping our eyes on Campbell and Armstrong catching up to Sylvain Dupuis. Very crucial for these guys if they can catch up to Dupuis. Will this short fuel stop work for Dupuis? That's the question. He spent 6 seconds less in the pit from my calculations, and it is starting to show what those 6 seconds mean, because Campbell's now started to pull away from Armstrong and catch up to Dupuis. So if he can get past Dupuis quickly, he doesn't bring Armstrong back into the race. It can be very vital. If he can just keep that going, keep that gap, you may be able to hold on there. It's not going to be an RSR 1-2 today. It's going to be 1-2-3. Sorry, it's going to be a 1-2. Even Bass though, it's going to be a 2. We've always talked about, are you going to be on the podium? We didn't know this week when it came to Okayama, but the master of the Ford, as you could almost christen him. No offense to Fabian. Ethan really working on this, really finding the ways to go. Can he make the move he has to around Kevin Clayton? He's nowhere near. And if he's nowhere near, well, Kevin doesn't need to let him by, so Kevin's just going to have to keep him there. But the key thing is the gap stays 1.5 seconds to Alvin Kelberg. He's not losing time to Alvin Kelberg, which is all important. Man who unfortunately did start very well, but is not having the best of times is Cody Pride. Just getting caught out there in the pit stops, and now he's at the hands of Lewis Ward. Lewis Ward right behind him. What he start to do to go, we start to see Kaseki here. He's going to have, that's not where you want to spin. The rear wing is bent, the nose goes in. It's a good thing that's not a front engine car. He would be struggling. But Cody Pride, he is doing well in the Porsche. Let's give him credit. We know what he's like in the Porsche. He likes this car. It suits his driving style. Did very well in the Pro-Am last season. He's doing well in the Pro at the moment. He's currently sitting P5. Even Bass still stuck behind Dupuis. And hello, this is El Haddad battling with Madel by the looks of it. And managing to get that move. No, Madel holds on. Madel taking the inside line and holds onto it to El Haddad. Start to see there are lap cars trying to get by them shortly. But this battle is so close at the moment. Madel knew that he had to hold that inside going into hairpin. He did that. You can start to see these cars. They're having their own little battle here. And you can start to see, there it is. There's Dupuy, there's Campbell, there's Armstrong. And they're all now starting to think, you mind, lads? We want to get going here. But Madel holding on. And really, something must have happened to Madel. And now he's gone wide. He's gone wide. Oh, he almost collects El Haddad. That could have been nasty. Keeps the car safe, keeps the car clean. But that was tight. And that's just a characteristic of BMW at the moment, with a little bit of oversteer. Just hard. Understeer, sorry. Just hard to get going. So that is a shame. What's not a shame for this driver is even Batt, he's able to get by. Now he's able to get by Platon. And now he has been released. Can he catch up to Kelberg? He lost half a second. He's trying to make it up as he goes. Gap now 1.8 seconds with 33 minutes left in the race. It's loads of time left, loads of time. They're looking at 50 laps today, to give you an idea of what we're doing around here in this hour and 15-minute race. 50 laps. That is a lot of laps. So that is going to be pretty... Well, it's... I mean, when you do a 40-minute race on iRacing and 45-minute race, and you're looking at like 40 laps on a short track, it takes a toll on you. Hour and 50 minutes. That is going to be... that is a challenge, especially on a track like this. It's a quick track. It's a short track. Even though we know it's 3.7 kilometers, you can just start to see the pace. 130s in a GT, it's quick times for these GTs around here. You're looking at 130 at Red Bull, and you're looking at 130 at other small tracks. So that is what we're seeing at the moment. As Dupuy is now starting to get caught by Campbell here. And Campbell, thanks to lap traffic, he's able to just hold on. He's able to just keep that gap from Armstrong at the moment. There's 2 seconds between the two of them. You can see in the timing tower. Dupuy is catching as they come down the Moss S into Atwood. This might be Campbell's first chance to make this move. But he's a bit too far away. I'm surprised at that. Dupuy really showing some good pace here. The moment Dupuy got free, he was away, and Campbell started to crawl, but crawling back in. And now they're here. Campbell's just able to just keep himself there, pull himself away. He continues to do that. He gets another lapped car in front of him. And that is Angel Padero in front of him. That's the next lap car. But you start to see Campbell's now free of the first set of lap traffic. Unfortunately, though, he's still 2 seconds behind. This is one of the big battles going on. How many times have I talked about Sean Campbell and James Armstrong in the World Series? So many close battles between these two. So many fantastic finishes between the two of them that it is just so hard to put a finger on how to describe the battle these two have had, the rivalry. But Armstrong has to catch him. Might be able to do it in the pits. Who ever knows? One thing to keep an eye on. So let's just have a quick look to make sure that Dupuy does not lose time here. And Campbell's going to have to make a move here. That's not a good overtake there on the lap traffic from Dupuy, and Campbell has the run. There is no overlap though, and Dupuy's sides, this is better. I'm going to use you to save fuel, because I'm the one that took less fuel. I'm the one that's got a pit. Pit window is shortly open for the final pit stop. Give it about a minute or two and the pit window will be open. Dupuy overtakes Campbell. Well, Campbell, sorry, overtakes Dupuy. You gotta think Dupuy, let him have that. That is a fuel saving move if I've ever seen one. Dupuy will just hold on to P3 at the moment. And with Armstrong still stuck behind lap traffic, it's going to be a bit of a wait before we see lapped Audi catch up So while we're doing that, let's look at the rest of the field, because Lewis Ward has been on the back of Cody Pryde for quite a while there. Timing tower is now correct. I thought the timing tower there was off for a moment, but no, it was just me not looking, must wear my glasses a bit more. Lewis Ward, on Cody Pryde, just unable to pull away. But there is another battle going on at the moment. You may have just seen it there. Thomas Reiter battling Sophie Rippad. You can start to see the orange on the timing tower. Always good to see those colours. They're coming to the last curve. This Ferrari has been quick today. Sophie Rippad currently P2. We talked about that top end speed. We're pretty interested to see these top end speeds at the moment. 220. You know what? I don't even think. Yeah, the BMW did get a little bit faster, but the Ferrari gets that top speed so quickly on the start finish straight and the back straight, as I like to call it. I guess it's the back straight, really. It's so weird to describe the track. If that Ferrari gets a good run, it's really doing its job right there. So now Lewis Ward has made that move at the hairpin. There is only one place that could be. That is at the hairpin. He has made that move. Cody Pryde unable to battle for that. Let's have a quick look at this. Is this him making the move? No, he's actually gone off. I do apologise. I thought it was an overtake at the hairpin. Well, it was, but it was set up by Cody, making a mistake coming out of Atworth. And unfortunately, he will then go again. There you go. Yep, goes wide. And he makes that mistake. And unfortunately, Cody Pryde goes down the order once again. Lewis Ward now wants to see if he can catch up. I'm not really sure he'll be able to catch up at the moment, but you can start to see the train of cars up ahead. There's the train there. They are trying, and they are going to hold on, I think is the right word. Go back to this Reiter and Rippad and start to see Reiter really struggling right here. That dirty air with those final corners really holding him up, and then this Ferrari with the speed. You think that the Lamborghini would have that speed. I've always called it a bit more of an aggressive car. Able to get on the throttle a bit earlier with the Lamborghini, able to be a little bit aggressive with that throttle, take a bit more throttle in the corner. But this is the best chance he had, and that was his best chance of making this move. It was a send. And up ahead, when we just look at the replay, essentially spinning right there. I was just about to bring it up because Daniel Sedgley lets his teammate go by, lets Reiter go by. That is Daniel Sedgley in the background. Here's these two. As Reiter, he's going to be brave. He wants to try and go around the outside of the hairpin. Not going to make it, but managed to keep to the back here. Sophie Rippad holds on. First two challenges that Rippad has had against her, from Thomas Reiter. Now, just Dupuis trying to make a move here. It looks like Dupuis wants to make the move, and he spooked out Campbell. A little bit of a spooking there. Not the right words to use, but he has managed to cause Campbell to make way. That Lamborghini takes back that P2, the fuel saving, trying to make the work. And again, look how close Reiter gets to the back of Rippad. Is he able to make a move? Yes or no? Lewis Ward's in the pit. That's for his fuel stop. Do not worry about that. Reiter carrying a lot more speed into the first corner. But if he doesn't get the line, and there's not really a line to overtake here at Williams, what can he do? Gap, as you can see, at 0.3, going almost to 0.4. He needs a good Atworth curve if he thinks about making a move here. This is very crucial for the championship. It is indeed for P4 in the race. Can he look at that? Can he try and muck? He's got Daniel Sedgley behind. Reiter does not have this top end speed. Look at it. He gets the acceleration, but there is no way. Any chance of making an overtake would be a risky send. And with 25 minutes left, there's no point. Something I was always told when it came to oval racing, we're not at our final pit stop yet, so let's not go racing. And that's what it feels like at the moment between Rippad and Reiter. Back to the point. He's starting to look the ball ahead of Campbell. He might be. Now why? Well, there's a pretty good reason for that, right? Dupuis, sorry, doesn't have the fuel. He took less fuel. Speaking of people who's just coming into the pits, by the way, Reiter's just coming into the pits. Could not get past Ripad, decides to go for an undercut with 25 minutes left to go. Expect Dupuis with 6 seconds left in the pit stop. That comes out, my maths is right, comes out to about 2 laps. I want to say 2 laps less. So expect Dupuis to pit within the next 4 minutes. Would I say 4 minutes? You try and do maths on the spot, and that's what I get. I'm thinking next 4 minutes we might see Dupuis. Andy Mado has had a roller coaster of a race. And here he is battling El Haddad once again. The 2 cars at the back of the amateur field. While they're battling, you've still got lap traffic coming around them, thick and thin. 2 BMWs just holding on to this battle. And it's so hard. Ever since the changes with the camber, these cars have been a totally different way to set them up, and still the drivers are trying to find that sweet spot, trying to find that spot that allows them to get the car where they want. But Madel, at the moment, he's not having the best of times out there. Now, this is Quinton Custel. He loses it. Oh, he's lucky not to get heavy damage. Don't rejoin the track. Oh, that was a close one. That looked to be an image seconds away from disaster, but he's managed to hold on to it. Now, El Haddad, sorry, he's gone wide at Atwood. Can this be the catalyst? You know what? Let's look at it. Oh, no. It needed that music. It needed that music from Yes, just to set you up there. And then, just like that, we see what happens, and that's not the best place to rejoin, and that's such a shame for what caused. I believe that was essentially, because that, I don't know if it was essentially all Ridpath, actually. I want to say, with it being Quinton Custel, that would be Sophie Ridpad. And Sophie Ridpad got some damage now behind Thomas Reiter, but she's already come out of the pits. Does have a little bit of scraping on the front, so looks to be indeed that was Sophie Ridpad. Now Dupuis, I predicted, about 2 minutes over, he's already come into the pits. It is go time for Dupuis, and go time for Sean Campbell, sorry. We'll wait and see. Go time for Simon Dodd. I know that sounds a bit crazy at the moment, but if he wants to get some track positions, he could make an overtake right here. Ferrari on Ferrari. He is an amateur driver, but currently sitting P3. He can get past this Pro-Am, because they've already pitted. And really, we always talk about how, you know, the higher class doesn't want to get out of the pits in lap traffic of the slower class on the same lap. Fortunately for Reiter and Ridpad, that has happened, but it cannot be helped. By the way, that accident for Ridpad puts us 3 seconds behind Reiter, was half a second ahead, so losing a bit of time, not in the pit stops, but because of that damage. Simon Dodd will go around again. I mean, some of these drivers pitted lap 22. So that gives you an idea, really. I would expect another 4 to 5 laps of fuel on the tank around here. Fabian's trying to make sure that he gets some positions right here, and he's in a little bit of battle. Hang on. Sorry, did my eyes deceive me? Is that 2 Fords driving side by side? Screenshot that for posterity, ladies and gentlemen. That's 2 Fords going side by side. Oh, the old girl is still got some life. We always joke about it, but it's amazing how old that car is. One of the oldest GT3s on the surface is still going. Fabian, of course, he's just driving to make sure he can get a couple positions over Copa, and also he keeps driving. That gives him a good chance for a position at the front of the next race. That's Thomas Reiter there. Had pitted, and he has got an amateur there. You'll start to see at the moment, we'll start to see some of these Pro-Ams mixed up with the amateurs at the moment. That is Timothy van der Broek, currently P2 in the amateurs in front of Thomas Reiter. Now Reiter's pitted. Reiter went for that early pit stop. Van der Broek has not pitted. So expect to see Reiter go for a move here. Van der Broek would not want to lose much time by letting the driver go here, but you know what? He's unable to. In fact, Reiter's going to try and take matters into his own hands and decides against it. But this is crucial for Reiter because he will start to lose time to Sophie Ridpath. And Sophie is 3 seconds behind, and the gap was shrinking. It's now expanding, so another one to worry about. But there you go, Reiter finally makes the move into Atworth. I think Timothy realized he had to let that go, and he will just take the slipstream, hold on for the moment, and he will just decide, yeah, I'm fine, I'll just use you to save some fuel. I don't need to race you. And that's exactly what Van der Broek is doing as Thomas Reiter goes by. So this is Lewis Ward right now coming down that back stretch. He comes into the hairpin. It looks like too much speed. The back kicks out. A little bit of braking. Ooh, and almost collects the car there and almost collects another car. And he's right on that apex. Worst place to be if you spin. Manages to keep it away though, but what time has he lost because of that? That is such a tough one, because now he was in a battle with Dupuy. He was in a battle elsewhere. Lewis Ward go down the order. It allows Fabian actually to get a position back. All-important position in terms of the championship for him. Sean Campbell, James Armstrong, while we've been looking around the field, they have not stopped. They haven't pitted yet either, to be fair. They just kept going like this. It does make me wonder which of the two of them will get the advantage in the pit stops. On paper, it is Armstrong. But I think Campbell may have a couple of tricks up his sleeve. We know what he's like. Every time I see that wing on Fabian, he's got the Scottish flag there, and it looks like it's a curved wing. That's very interesting. Madel goes wide at the final corner. Hold it! And holds it. Good little save. El Haddad comes into the pit, so they're on different pit strategies at the moment. The two guys battling at the back of the field. Back to Campbell. Back to Armstrong. Now you see that gap is only yellow. Remember, anything less than a second, that number's yellow. Anything less than half a second, it's in orange. So it's a very spread out field tonight. You're starting to see the implications of the spread out field, that now the important battles like this one just mean more. And with everybody in different situations, in different track positions, around different classes, you can start to see why it's crucial. As we just see, Marshall Caverd does take a pit stop, puts Thomas Reiter up into P4. He's already done that pit stop, of course. Now, who's going to blink first out of the pros? That's the question. Again, if we're talking on paper, that's going to be Campbell. Doesn't matter about Jesse Jones. As we just got to keep looking, it's fantastic to see Jesse Jones constantly up ahead. He had that victory last week, looking to go 2 for 2 if he can. But anything can happen. We can always show that he kind of locked in to that victory last week. However, if the victory's there, you take it. So that is Jones looking to go back to back into race night. If you join us with 16 minutes left to go in this race, we're on the second and final pit stop rotation. You currently see we started with 32 drivers. We lost a few drivers. Oscar Copo with some hardware issues. Daniel Sedgley having a bit of a spin. Harry Wills also having some incidents. Dean Timms as well. Raphael Garin and Maxine Smith, they had some issues. Florian Copin came together. Werner S had an early crash as well. It's been an eventful race. At the front of the field, Jesse Jones managed to get the lead early and take it. Sean Campbell had to work his way up the field. He's done so well, but he's unable to catch up to his RSR brethren in Jesse Jones. As you can see, since really the 10th minute of this race, he has been locked in a battle with James Armstrong. When it comes to the Pro-Ams, it has been the Alvin Kelberg show once again. Dominance from Kelberg. You start to see that is says 30-second gap. Remember, they're in pit stop rotation. Kelberg yet to pit. The drivers having spins everywhere around the track, including Fabian Scheisse, who unfortunately did have a spin or two in the pros earlier. For the amateurs, it has been a pretty straightforward from Michael Pannerman. Simon Dodd, Timothy Vanderbroek have tried to catch up to him, as you can see. Unfortunately, it has not gone their way. There has been moments around the field, and Madel having a couple of spins. Also, Haddad having a couple of spins himself. Sophie Ripad, by the way, in the Pro-Ams, started that battle once again with Harry Wheels and also made a couple of mistakes. So this has been a track that has claimed a lot of people here. You could say a lot of it is the inexperience here. Remember, it's a free track on iRacing, so it's in a lot of the lower series that iRacing provides. Some of the other upper ones, you seldom see this track. Made its debut in IMSA last season on iRacing, and usually once a year gets put in the VRS schedule. It has been seen recently in the Ferrari Fix series, and of course it is known because it's a free track for the rookie Mazdas and the Formula V. So a lot of these drivers, they have an idea of the track. Driving it in the GT3, I think, has caught some of these drivers out today. So with 13.5 minutes, this is the key battle. When the pit stop rotation is finally finished, we'll give you other key battles. But here, this is the main one that is being decided on track and not just in the pit lane. Campbell holding on now. The last few laps, 28.943 for Campbell and a 28.837 for Armstrong. It has been some good racing by both drivers, but Armstrong really getting in there, just constantly in those mid to mid high 28s. And Campbell, he's got the pace, but he's unable to start to pull away. Once he got by Dupuis, who took that he took that interesting short and long fuel strategy, the only one of the pros to go off the beaten track and take his own track. And it's kind of worked for him. We'll know when Campbell and Armstrong take their pit stops, which I'm starting to think is now or in the next 2 laps. On lap 42, they pitted 22 and 21 respectively. Are either of them going to make a pit stop here? We'll wait and see. As Simon Dodd now continues. I think that is Sophie Ripad in front. And as I was saying, that Campbell does indeed come into the pit. Campbell into the pit, and there's been an accident. Armstrong spotted the last corner. Armstrong at the last corner is in the wall. Armstrong, heavy damage in the walls. We're just watching. You see on the front, we'll get that replay. It looked like he realized the situation and he had to push. And he caught the grass, got the throttle down. And unfortunately for Armstrong, he's still running. But the time he lost, that is going to be a killer for Armstrong. Campbell will come out. Where is Campbell going to come out here? He comes out behind Kevin Clayton. Kevin Clayton has yet to pit, but he's still ahead of Dupuis. In fact, 9 seconds ahead of Dupuis. That is the pace Campbell has had over Dupuis. And of course, he's then 10 seconds over Cody Price. So there is that battle between Dupuis and Pride. Apologies then. Sorry. That battle between Dupuis and Pride, we can start to see, is going on. Amateurs have got some battles going on in the pit lane. It's going to be a pit lane battle between Vanderbroek and Simon Dodd. And Quinton Custel. Now that does look, you think to yourself, that's a battle there on the timing tower, between Quinton Custel and Ethan Bass. I'd like to let you know that Custel has yet to pit. Ethan Bass has pitted. Now, there is that accident. You see, he caught the tyre barrier. But look at the damage at the front of that car, and look at the time he lost just catching the grass on the exit. And now he comes into the pits. P2 might be lost for Armstrong after what happened. Where does he go? already. Clayton goes by. He's yet to pit. There goes Campbell. Campbell's by. Now, what about Dupuy? Can he get ahead of Dupuy? That's gonna be a big one. 4 seconds in the gap. Armstrong. Yep. Ooh, it's gonna be a battle off the start line between Dupuy and Armstrong. He gets by. Fabian still pitting. So that's the battle that we have to keep an eye on right now, Dupuy and Armstrong. Armstrong cannot afford to lose more positions after what happened last week. Another mistake today. Has that cost him? Armstrong needs to make sure he holds on to this P3. But Dupuy right behind him, that is a healthy Lamborghini against a wounded Armstrong. And I've got to be brutally honest, when I was looking at Campbell entering the pits, the impact I heard, I thought I heard an engine go pop on Armstrong. And I thought for a moment that was it. And when I realized it was a head-on collision to the wall, I knew that wasn't an engine. But that is heavy damage. A heavy hit there for Armstrong. You can see 9 seconds behind Campbell. I mean, looking at it, I don't even think Armstrong would have won that positional battle with Campbell, even if he didn't have that. So that just goes to show the pace of Campbell right now. And this little 3-car battle is starting to brew. Dupuy will have the straight line speed, but again, there are 2 big straights on this track. Start-finish line, which they're coming on to right now, and that backstretch after Atwood. And look how much the curb and how much gravel these drivers are starting to take. They're really struggling out there at the moment because they're pushing hard. The track temp, 30 Celsius, 86 Fahrenheit, has gone a little bit warmer out there, and it is really starting to pay dividends. The tyres are starting to give way. What can they do? Armstrong has to hold on here. Can Dupuy get a good run as they come out of Atwood? The answer, no. But as I say that, you can start to see that's not a block. Armstrong make the first move. Dupuy's going to try and go around the outside. Not going to work. And Armstrong had the spin. He fought for so long. He could not hold on. He'll go down to P6. That would be net P5 once Clayton comes in for his pit stop. But oh, what could have been. This is still on though, with 7 minutes to go. Still on to James Armstrong. What can he do? Can he get that position from Cody Pride? P5. That's all good and well being, but remember, point increments of 5. And if the championship rivals are Jones and Campbell are up ahead and they get 195, Armstrong's getting 80. And last time I checked, that's a 15 to 20 point difference. That is a big difference for a man that already has a bad result after the Watkins Glen crash, the unfortunate Watkins Glen crash. He needs this. Just like Simon Dodd needs another good result. As he's on the back of Van der Broek right here. He has done some fantastic work to get around here. He will look to keep fighting. They are just fighting for this position. You can see the gap between themselves and Manuel Carrera. And you can start to see the gap ahead as well from Patterman. Also, you've got Madel and Gasecki as well behind. We'll have to see as well what Madel and Gasecki are doing as well as they come down to the hairpin. I'm just looking at them when we're looking at this as Simon Dodd needs a good exit. Is he going to get it? I don't think so. You can make sense going into this first corner, but why send it? Why send it? That is risk with little reward. There goes Clayton, by the way, in the pit. Finally, Clayton is in the pit. It's all good. I want to also, we won't bring it up yet, but keep your eyes on that tower with Kelberg and Bass. That number may start to drop. If it starts dropping under 2 seconds, we've got to start thinking about that for the last 5 minutes. But Kelberg is just really starting to think about pulling away. We're about to see an overtake as well in the amateurs. Andrew Madel get that P5 as I was watching it just here through watching Simon Dodd. Andrew Madel managed to make a move to Kaseki. It's a little bit wide on the final corner. That's one move as well. You'll see it in the timing tower. Madel will be pulling away if he can. Simon Dodd needs to try and get around Van der Broek here. P2 would be fantastic for Simon Dodd if he could get it. He gets really tight there as they come around Hobbs. Can he do anything here? If he gets to run at Mike Knight and gets it going in the last corner, but the last corner, how many people has it caught out today? And as I say that, almost captures another one out. Simon Dodd gets the run, and this is what he wants right now, side by side with Van der Broek. I don't think Van der Broek can even compete with this. He's going to. They go side by side, but he just goes in a bit too deep. Simon Dodd goes up to P2. They also have Jesse Jones behind. Jesse, being respectful, knows what's happening right now, but he also needs to make sure that he does not lose any time. Will he make this move on to Van der Broek? He does indeed. That's not going to be good for Timothy. Such is the nature of multi-class racing, even though it's the same class. We are in different categories here. Such is the nature. He'll get the slipstream from Jesse Jones, but he is starting to lose out to Simon Dodd. That gap now, 1 second between the two of them. It's not the best time to lose, but at the same time, Jesse Jones will look to try and make a move himself. So again, that gap may close. You'll see it on the timing tower. This one you don't see, but we do manage to keep our eyes on it. Kevin Clayton and Lewis Ward. Both drivers have been in the wars today. As they are now in their own little battle out of outward curve. How many times have we seen moves coming into the hairpin here? Clayton is forced to go around the outside of Lewis Ward. I don't think he's going to hold on to this. They almost come together. He's able to hold on to it. Lewis Ward taking really the only line you can do around that corner, around that hairpin. We've seen it so many times here. And if you know that you can do this, you can hold on. Now, Oscar Copa, it's just gone bad to worse for Oscar. Championship leader again clips the grass at Moss S, and he goes and he toes, and I think that might be it. Now that's crucial. If he does not finish, he will have to start next race at the back of the field, which is not what he needs. That is why we saw the likes of Ward, Fabian Scheite. You know, Fabian had damage, kept racing, and because he kept racing, he's going to get a decent position for the start of the next race. But for Copa, that's him at the back of the pro field for the next race. You will have to think that this definitely is his drop week. It's a shame it's to come now, this early in the season. Like I said, with all the different races, with all the different racetracks, challenging racetracks on the field. Remember, Donington next week. A couple of weeks we go to Mid-Ohio, and then we go to Zolder. They are not easy tracks for overtaking all moves. Just like Kevin Clayton there, he could have made that move. Did not have the confidence, decided to just hold on. As we almost wind down, Jesse Jones will start the white flag. We are 1 lap to go. Jesse Jones will just hold on. In theory, it should be pretty straightforward. What this does mean, though, is Michael Paterman, he's the only amateur on the last lap. Paterman looks to be winning the race 10 seconds up the road. Kelberg, I told you to keep an eye on this. Kelberg now has got Ethan Bass behind him, 1.5 seconds. But he's able to get by James Armstrong. He's able to just get some gap between him and Ethan. It's going to be all too close. That 12 seconds is going to be vital between Paterman and Don. Like I said, Paterman is 9 seconds up the road from Jesse Jones. He will just have to drive around. He will take the win. If he does not get lapped, he will take this win with no problem in the amateurs. But the eyes are on Jesse Jones. I know it says Jeff Jones. He's Jesse to me. This is the track that he should know all too well from his Ferrari fixed days. Such a good driver. He's proved it once again. One more corner. It's been faultless today for Jesse. He wins today. And Okayama is back-to-back with the RSR driver. And behind him will be his teammate. Sean Campbell's just got one more corner to go. He just takes it easy. He will also take home a P2. And Dupuy, this is the one we got to talk about here. The short pit. What that for Dupuy? He takes the P3. What a P3 there for Sylvain Dupuy. Kjellberg will come across the line right now for the Pro-Ams. He manages to hold on a late charge from Ethan Bass. Fantastic for him as well. And Thomas Reiter will take that P3 overall in the Pro-Ams. Now we know who's come P2. We know who's come P2 in the AMS. It is Simon Dodd. We know Timothy Vanderbroek has taken P3. Michael Paterman is going to be one of the last guys to finish a lap here. He's only got a few more corners left to go. There's Sophie Ridpad. A very well done P4 there for Sophie Ridpad. But Michael Paterman will be one of the last drivers to cross the line. And he will take a convincing amateur victory there. Brilliant work. We'll just see the last driver on the lead lap is Mitchell Marshalkova. The field is finished. 15 cars on the lead lap overall. But for a race that had a lot of gaps on it, there was a lot of action going on. Again, apologies for what happened with our disconnections there. The amateurs, of course, Michael Paterman leads everybody by a lap. That's right, one whole lap. And you can start to see now for the rest of them. We'll just go through. Remember, white is your pros, blue your pro-ams, red are your amateurs. So you can start to see the mixtures there. James Armstrong there, just having a little bit of a getting caught out there. So did Fabian, Lewis, and Kevin, all getting caught out there. Really, the pace of Kjellberg and Bass, even with the mistakes for the back of the pro field, was just too good for some of these drivers. So you start to see as well some of those drivers just making their positions up there. Paterman as well leading off. Simon Dad, Vanderbroek, Juan Manuel Carrera. Carrera, really, that P4, crucial for his championship. He was leading the championship. Hopefully he's able to try and claw some of those points back from having to start at the back of the field. Same ready for Sean Campbell as well in the pro field, and for Kjellberg as well. He's going to make up some really good places. Chmielewski did not race this week, so he will take that as a drop week. But for Raphael Garin, definite drop week. And for Daniel Sedgley, when you look at that as well for them, as is Harry Wills. So the championship for the Pro-Ams is going to look very, very weird after this week when it comes to some of the driving. Now, we do have interviews quickly. We do have Simon Dodd just popping in for what I feel is, I would say, a well-deserved finish there, Simon.
Yeah, that was hard work. A lot of hard work, that. I mean, I was hoping for P5, if I'm honest. And then the start happened, and I gained a few places right off the bat, I think. Came out of the first corner in 4th place, I think it was. And then my plan was, first stint, take it easy, save some tyres for the end. And then I just had to get past whoever it was in P3. I can't remember who it was at that point. So I did that move into the hairpin. And then pit stops came round. That all went nicely. And then the final stint, I had Sophie Redpath in front of me. And she was just a bit quicker than me, but not enough to make a gap. Well, she could make a gap, but then I think she made a couple of mistakes, which brought me back in close. So she just towed me up the road to Timothy. And then when I got up to him, he literally just sent me a message, actually. He said he had no tyres left to defend with at the end. So I was fortunate enough there that I'd saved some tyres for the end and was able to make a move on him and make it stick. So very happy.
Yeah, talk me about not just the tyre wear, but also the track, because Okayama is not a track we see a lot on iRacing, especially with the GT3. It's probably only once a year we see it in the GT3. So Do you have much experience with this track? And of course, is it really a tire eater? Like I said, for myself, it's not a track that I'm used to.
Let me have a look. So, yeah, it appears it is. I mean, I'm quite heavy on my tyres anyway. So, I had some experience in it in the MX-5s when I first started, obviously. They do the short track here generally. And then I think I may have done 1, possibly 2 Ferrari fixed races here. But yeah, my front left is pretty shot by the end. I had 55% on the inside of my front left. So, yeah, that didn't have much left on it at the end. But yeah, it seemed to be fine, to be honest. I just kept dialing the brake bias further to the rear as the race went on, and it seemed to keep it all in check, thankfully.
So we go to quote unquote your home race because we're in the UK next week. It's Donington National.
Yes.
Now, what do you know about Donington? Are you looking forward to it?
Well, Donington is the only place I've got a race win in the World Series. So there's a little bit of history, yeah. I got my first race win there. It was when we had 2 races, and I think I won the second race of the day. There was a lot of carnage in that race, I believe. But yeah, I got the win.
That's why I don't want to talk about it, yes.
Yeah.
One of those things. So, of course, I will look forward to that as well. It's national layout, which I need to ask the question, national or Grand Prix?
I prefer the national. That final chicane is just so much more fun.
Yeah.
It's just brilliant. You can really chuck it through there if your car's set up right.
I would like to find the man that disagrees with me there, or disagrees with us there. Anyway, Simon, any shout-outs before you let you go? My
team, obviously, Eclipse, Twiggy for the setup, although it was built for Imola. It works here. My mum and dad, and everyone else that knows me. And you guys for broadcasting and the admins for setting up the league.
Well, Simon, congratulations on that P2 overall. Like I said, Donington next week. We look forward to seeing you, mate. All the best and have a good evening.
Cheers, man. See you next week.
So, let's just quickly pick up there. I think I just caught in mid-conversation. Apologies. But we can't, we've got to pull you away to have the celebration here. Jesse Jones, another victory at Okayama. I come on, I'm going to be honest. You know this track from Ferrari Fix, don't you?
I did. I think I've done 4 Ferrari Fix races here early last year, and that's probably the last time I touched the track.
Oh,
okay. It's like that. Okay.
Yeah. So no. It's, like I said, I think it was a couple of the guys in the team. We have like where we push up some of our vector drivers and our lower I rating drivers to grind a bit of I rating. So we do a lot of Ferrari Fixed with them. So I practiced a lot with them, but I didn't do many races.
I mean, I know some people have been talking about the tyres as well. You were not under threat at all race. Let's be brutally honest. Were you able to just conserve the tyres? Were you able to just keep it clean? Because it looked like it was just a Sunday drive for you out there tonight.
To be honest, I was expecting a horrible front tyre wear. I know, on the dashboard, the front left was the hottest by far. It's the highest tyre pressure. So in my mind, I wanted to conserve the front left as much as I can. So the whole first stint, I pushed the puller gap, but I didn't go 110%. I just wanted to look after them front tyres. And when it comes to the first pit stop, I used just over 10% on the fronts. So I was like, okay, that's fine. And then after that, I just pushed as hard as I could. To be honest, I got really, really lucky. I was starting 5th. This track is notoriously difficult to overtake. I got a good start thanks to Cody getting a good start as he was directly in front of me. Fabian made a small mistake, and into the first set of hairpins, I decided to go 3 wide in between both of them. And I come out the receiving end with no 0x's and in the lead. And after that, I just knuckled down and tried to get my head down more than anything else.
So next week, it's not Daytona. No, it's Donington. Begins with a D. It's Donington. I just said it was Donington. The scene of the crime. I think everyone remembers what happened last time at Donington. I mean, are you looking forward to racing the track? Is the question.
I think more than anything else, as the better you do and the more points you score, the harder it is. You're going to end up getting pushed further and further back up the grid. With Donny, I don't know what the championship standings say where I'm at, but I imagine I'm going to be pushed further back up the grid. Donington's going to be tough, so I think more than anything, I'm hoping there's going to be a lack of attrition, maybe a few people doing some overzealous overtakes, and just I'm hoping for freebies more than anything else. I'm hoping James does well. He's had a lot of bad luck. He should have won Watkins. I think he got caught up in an incident or a spin. That's from my relative. He dropped down a fair bit, but with Donington being such an Audi favoured track, I'm really, really hoping he deserves a good result anyway. He really deserves a good result. So I'm hoping he's going to be at the front. He should be able to go for it. He should do really well. The Audi suits the car down to the T. For me, Oscar and Sean, I think it's surviving Donington is going to be the main one more than anything else.
Well, we'll let you have that traumatic survival experience next week. But before that, we'll let you have your shout-outs before you let you go for the night.
I think the main one I want to focus on shouting out is Butt Kicker. They've actually given us a new discount code for everyone to use. So if anyone is interested in a Butt Kicker, visit the website and use RSR 2022, all capitals. You get yourself 20% off a new Butt Kicker.
Didn't even need to ask you to show you did it yourself. Jesse, thank you very much. Congratulations once again. Another victory. We hope to look forward to seeing you on four wheels pointing forward next week at Donington. Have a good evening, Jesse, and all the best.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
And now, just very quickly, let's just bring up one more time Ethan Batt, of course, the man, probably the master of the Ford nowadays, with a P2. Ethan, it looked like you almost had a chance there at the end. I think you ran out of laps at the end there, chasing down Kelberg.
Oh, that was a lot more fun than I ever really expected. I've driven around Okayama a lot, but I had reservations about how it was going to be in this Ford, but that ended up being mega.
It looked really good. I mean, I didn't expect the Ford, we always talk about the Ford, didn't expect the Ford to be very strong here with the combination of high and low speed corners, but it looked to me like you just had it dialed in with the setup tonight.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those high downforce tracks. It's actually a track F1 ran double rear wing things, so I put on a high downforce set as much as I could get on it, and the gearbox actually held up really well. It was almost like perfectly geared for the second half of the lap and back to the back straight. I was really surprised, and it was a good bit of fun. Like, the first gear was needed, but it felt perfectly suited, and it was mega fun. Trying to catch Alban at the end there after all the traffic, I probably made the strategic error of doing the second stop earlier than he did to get out, because I saw traffic approaching, but when I came out in other traffic, and it kind of spoiled the part, and he ended up getting a gap after his second stop. But nevertheless, that was fine. That was uneventful for me, which I was happy enough with. And I think I got past Quentin early because I felt like I had a lot more pace and clear air. There's tracks where you want to sit and do the strategy game. There are places like here where the straights are not long enough to do fuel stuff, so you just want to go. You want the clean air so you don't get affected to try and catch people. And I feel like just one, maybe two more laps, maybe I might have caught Albin. I don't know if he'll struggle at the end there or not, but that was good fun. I'll enjoy watching that one back.
Yeah, it will be pretty good to see. And also, we managed to catch on camera the rare sight of two Fords together. It was almost like a nature documentary, I've got to be brutally honest. Next week is Donington, Ethan. We know it's a very good track for in terms of like how it is. Very tight track for GT racing. Is it going to be a survival battle for you at the back of the field?
It'll be a survival, but I don't actually think it'll be too bad. I think the only place that might be of interest is the chicane, but that's what chicanes are. I don't care what car you're in. The chicanes at the national layout of Donington that I believe we're going to race at are always interesting. But apart from that, Donington's a good bit of fun, lots of high speed. There's a lot more passing opportunities there. I feel like you can set things up a lot easier. Getting passes done here was more waiting for them to make a mistake and then getting them on the straight and on the braking. At Donington, you can set things up. There's more flow to it, I feel. So hopefully it should be a bit of fun. I don't know where I'm going to be standing wise, but again, podiums will get a championship, and after Watkins, I'm very happy with tonight. And hopefully the same happens at Donington.
Of course, we hope as well. Any shout-outs before we let you go?
I've got to thank Renville, TechSense, Demon Tweaks, Fight Colour Cancer, Majors Garage, Symphony D, and the boys at the Axel Fit Style Squad for giving me the great paint and cheering me on. I know there's probably a couple of people watching. That was a good bit of fun.
Yeah, well done, Ethan. It was a fantastic race, and like I said, we were looking at that gap. It could have gone anyway there, so it's unfortunate there. A couple more laps, you probably would have had that victory, but a P2 is still good. Ethan, have a good evening and all the best. We look forward to seeing you next weekend. Next week, sorry, not weekend.
Next weekend. Be interesting if it was a weekend league, but yeah, thanks very much. I'll catch you boys next week. Thanks to Race Anywhere lads for hosting this, and catch you boys later.
All the best, Ethan. Thank you very much. Well, it's been another eventful night. Again, we saw James Armstrong, like Jesse Jones was saying, being caught out and unfortunate once again. I think everyone feels for him. That is such a shame to see that happen again. We hopefully see what's going to happen next week when it comes to Donington. Kelberg will take some more points in the league, and he will start to climb up the Pro-Am field. But all the big names outside have started to climb up quietly with P4s and P3s. That is one to keep an eye out for. But it's been another eventful night, and like I said, next week is at Donington. But don't forget, later tonight is the Americas Series, also here at Okayama. That promises to be a one to watch, so keep your eyes to watch that, or watch it on a VOD later. If you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button and the bell to get notifications when we're live and when we've got scheduled races coming up here on Absolute Sim Racing. We hit 500. Let's go higher. Let's double it to 1,000. Shout out to Race Anywhere once again for sponsoring the series, and of course Sim 3D as well for hopping on as well with their stuff. I want to give a shout out again to Steve proudly for the camera working again. Apologies for what happened with the technical glitches at the start of the race. I'm glad and hope that you were able to keep watching, ladies and gentlemen. It has been fantastic night, and I'm getting ready to have myself a nice rest as I get ready for one of my favorite tracks for GT racing next week at Donington. So for myself, Craig King, and Steve proudly, I say thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good evening and stay safe. And we look forward to see you out there on the track once again.